guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be a little bit of a different video. If you couldn't already tell from the title, we're going to be looking at why your glutes aren't growing and my little secrets and tips and tricks to help your glutes grow. Also, hi, if you haven't seen my face before, I'm Fitness with Ellen. We do everything to do with fitness and wellness on this channel. So if that's your kind of vibe, then please feel free to stick around, come join the fam. And yeah, right. So I think it's probably time to get into the video. So I wanted to do this for a little while because I've grown my glutes quite considerably. I'll put two comparison pictures up here so you can see kind of, I am speaking from experience and I have done this purely just through the gym. It has been a very slow process for me as it's taken about 3 years to kind of, one, understand everything that I'm doing, two, actually grow my glutes, and three, just have a general better understanding for what I'm doing in the gym. Here's my top advice for you. My first piece of kind of stick it in the back of your mind, but keep it there. Piece of advice is that some of the things that you see online are either Photoshop, genetics, or to do with surgery. So if someone's got this skinny little waist, this huge dump truck, then maybe they're very genetically gifted, or they have worked very hard in the gym, but 9 times out of 10 it's normally genetics or surgery. So don't always believe everything that you see online. My next tip is that it is very slow progress. As I have said before, it is not something that is going to just happen overnight, or with these 30-day glute growth programs that you see kind of floating around. It's just not going to happen. So you kind of need to stick to it and be consistent. My next piece of advice would be definitely eating within a calorie surplus. What this means is just above your normal kind of intake of calories. I would try and be very honest with yourself within these kind of learning all of this, and try and track your calories for just a week and be really honest with yourself, because I definitely think you'd be surprised that you're not eating as much as you thought you would, maybe in terms of calories or whatever, and you need to be eating a decent amount to kind of to put on some muscle to grow that booty. This then moves on to my next point quite nicely, is that you need to eat before you work out. I can't stress this enough because I used to not, and it really would hinder my workouts. Eating before you go is massive, because it will just help to give you that extra bit of fuel to push you through your workouts, so you're not getting halfway through and not being able to kind of finish a workout or do it at the utmost intensity. Which kind of spirals onto my next point quite nicely, that you need to be training with a lot of intensity and intent, which means that you need to be going to the gym with a clear plan. I have found previously that I write my workouts down in either my notes, so you can get like a little logbook to kind of help. This is really good to see kind of where you're at and what you need to do in your next workout. Again, this leads me on quite nicely to say that you should be progressively overloading your workouts, which means kind of in the simplest forms, gradually adding more and more weight on to your working sets. When I say working sets, I do mean, so say you're squatting 40 kilos, you should be getting this for about 6 to 8 reps confidently and without any issues, to then be gradually moving up. I'm not saying that each workout you need to add more and more weight on, as that's just not going to do anyone any favors. My next piece of advice, and what I have done personally, is to start my workouts with 3 different compound movements that kind of engage every single part of the muscle that I want to grow. I start my workouts off with squats. I then move on to either a deadlift or an RDL. It has been RDLs at the moment because I've been training deadlifts for back, and then move on to a hip thrust. These 3 compound movements will really help you to engage those muscles and make them work all together. When I say compound movements, I mean movements that engage all the muscles rather than doing your accessory, which targets certain muscles. Probably something that may come across a little bit more controversial, and I wouldn't say controversial, just not a lot of people do. And because we've seen the kind of uprise in people using the Stairmaster machine to grow that slim little waist and that big bum, I cut out cardio for a solid year whilst I was kind of in the main phase of growing my glutes. I was pretty much eating in a surplus for a year because I really wanted to grow kind of just general muscle. It's a really good way to grow muscle. I'm not saying you have to do this, I just found this kind of worked for me, and I'm now at the point where I'm starting to kind of cut down to kind of reveal all the muscle that I've grown underneath. Yeah, I would say if you enjoy cardio, then maybe just cut it back a little bit. I'm not saying to just completely cut it out, that's just what I did, but to just get rid of it a little bit. I meant to say before when I started this video, I'm not a PT, this is just what I have learned from doing this myself, and I'm not trying to sell you a program, so this is just my advice. I'm not trying to get you on board for my glute building program, that's just not what I'm doing. Don't want to gatekeep in any secrets in growing that nice big booty. I also find it's best to do your upper body. I was definitely someone who would just be really focused and just be like, yeah, I'm just gonna go and have a leg day. I'm just gonna go and have a leg day. Oh, what day is it? Leg day, obviously. Please train your upper body. It also gives you time to rest your lower body, and when you grow your back, it really gives you that nice hourglass shape, which a lot of people are after. Personally, that's kind of what I'm after, and that's why I train those bits of my body. But I would just suggest it also does help with your leg lifts, as you've got the upper body strength to hold certain things, especially like the barbell. You do need stability in there, so training your upper body is kind of crucial for that. I would say something that is also quite overlooked is warming up. I tend to warm up each session regardless of what I'm training for about 5 to 10 minutes, as I find this is a really good way to avoid injury, so everything's warm, whether this is just going on a piece of cardio equipment for like five minutes, or actually stretching. I find stretching with a band and even just some body weight stretches to be the best for me. If you want, I can put up a video of what stretches I do for each kind of day. Yeah, warming up is very essential. It stops less injury. You're still gonna get the fatigue there, but it definitely helps. I would also say balance your split. So on what days you are doing what workouts. I definitely find that training glutes and hamstrings, I pair them together because I find that they're all kind of, it works better if I train them together. I train them 2 times a week, and then I do my quads for a third. I then train back and chest on the other 2 days and give myself 2 rest days. Personally, this is just what works for me. Something different may work for you. And my last piece of advice, and one that many people do not do, I sometimes do it and I probably should do it more, but is to deload. This just means taking weight off of your working sets and working below this, as it still keeps your muscles engaged but gives them time to rest. I find people start to kind of get stumped in not being able to kind of move up to the next weights and push themselves further when they are not deloading, because it just gives your body time to relax and kind of just not be put under so much stress. Yeah, just give yourself some time with this is probably my overarching advice. It's not going to happen overnight. You just need to just trust the process, as everyone says. Yeah, that's probably my main bits of advice. I would say probably my top 5 would be start eating in a calorie surplus. Start your compound and progressive overload, they kind of fall in the same one. Start doing those because they will really help you. Start writing down what you're doing so you know session to session where you're at, what you've lifted. I would also say to do your warm-ups because they will help prevent injury in the future, and I've started doing them more recently and I've just found they really do help. And last but not least is deload, as this will help you in just the long run to not feel too overloaded and stressed and give your muscles time to just... I really hope this was a useful video for all of you to watch. I have definitely found this enjoyable, and if this is something that you would like to see in the future, then please give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Leave me a comment down below or something that you want to kind of know next. Again, I'm not a PT, this is just what I found in my experience. So, you know, that's just is what it is. I've kind of done this all myself, so yeah, lol. But yeah, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel. I also will put my other socials up. I am very responsive on the